Okay, so in total I spent on property seminar courses this year.
Wow. Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. You might recognize this gentleman to my left. You might recognize his hair. You might recognize him on a scooter doing some crazy ass shit, yo. Like, I don't know how you're alive, the stuff you do on a scooter. But today, we're talking about property. And before we get into, the stuff, can you just tell everyone who you are, what you do, like why we're here?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Claudius Fertesi and I make YouTube videos. I'm a really good scooter rider. So I do scooter tricks at skate parks. I've been doing this since I'm 13 years old. And now I have over 1.1 million subscribers. Yeah, it took me 3 years. So I started 3 years ago. And I travel the world, mainly the UK, going to all the different indoor skate parks. I have my own clothing brand and scooter brand as well. This now is my property merch, which really is just for myself, just because I like merch. And earlier this year, I would say in May, I started getting into property. So I started going to seminars. I've done so many seminars. And just now, similar to you, you've been doing seminars for 6 months. And then 6 months ago,
as you though,
you started. Similar to me. So I've been doing seminars since pretty much May until about now. And I've been touring so much, like going to all these indoor skate parks, doing like meet and greets for my fans and just tours.
I've got a celebrity. People watching my YouTube channel, look at this dude, yeah? 1.1 million subscribers, yeah? Celebrity, I bring you the best guests. Now you mentioned something, you went to a lot of seminars.
Yeah.
I went to 3, you probably went to 3 in one afternoon. Have you counted how many seminars and courses you've been on in the past 6 months? You must have counted.
I haven't counted them. I actually don't know how many.
Roughly, give us a number. What do you reckon? Because I reckon everywhere.
Yeah, I've done. So first, I've been to almost every property networking event.
And you haven't been to mine, so you better come.
I haven't been to his yet.
Yep.
And then seminar, I've been to pretty much all of the free ones, most of the paid ones.
Whoa.
And then I'm doing 2 mentorships.
Oh, bloody hell.
Yeah.
2. Okay, so you said something interesting off camera, which is that when you mention to people, I've done all these courses,
yeah,
they potentially are a bit negative with you.
Yeah.
And you'd think if you said I read 100 books, people would say that's amazing. But for some reason, why do you think people are negative when you say I've been to all these courses? Like, what do you think it is?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Actually, it's funny. Sometimes when I go to a seminar, people come up to me and say, you're the guy who goes to the courses. They go like, yeah, you're the guy, yeah? And it's just, they're not really saying that they don't like it. I just get the vibe from them, like they don't really admire it. They just almost like, and what's interesting is, the people, and like any seminar you go to, the people who complain about that there is courses being sold, it's always those who don't buy, right? If there's anyone says, oh, they're gonna sell you something, did you buy? No. I didn't like this. Did you buy anything? No. Like, I've done a few courses which I think were not that good, but I still learned something. And for me, like every course I pick up on something, and honestly this gave me such a really, really good foundation now in such a short time. Literally, I learned from like residential to commercial. I've done even like a council. Councils do like these one-day trainings where they talk about compliance.
Oh, yeah.
It's very boring.
Much fun. Yeah, so much fun.
Yeah, no, it's really fun, guys. So you should go there. But no, this gave me so much perspective, and I feel like it just cut down the time, right? And I met really good people as well.
It does, and I think, what I always say to people, look, I don't like courses necessarily, and I think you can learn a lot yourself and from networking and doing things like this, but I say to people, look, that will take X many months. If you want to learn sort of the theory of something quickly, then you pay for it, 1 weekend, a week, whatever, you've learned it. So like, I totally get what you're saying. I just prefer the other approach, maybe because I'm a cheap Indian, which you already know, but you know why I think people are negative towards you when you, or sort of had that vibe?
Yeah, what do you think? What do you think is that?
So I think from what I've seen on Facebook and from speaking to people, courses have a sort of bad name, especially certain people in the industry. And there's something called like course junkies, which is what you sound like to people. Because if you say to someone, I've been on all these courses, blah, blah, and they're thinking, all these courses, but how many houses you got? What action are you taking? And I'm not saying that in a good or bad way, but there's a lot of people who do courses, you know, do what you do, and then they say, oh, okay, I'll just carry on my job and I'll look at a property once a month. People like that, I think, people probably think you're like that. They don't see, you know, they assume straight away that it's like, oh, course junkie, done 10 courses, in 30 years he'll still be complaining with no houses.
Yeah, so basically, what they see in you are factors that they see in themselves. So they, so they look at you and they, because whatever they see in you, they have in themselves, because otherwise they wouldn't notice. And I think also people who complain are people who actually would like to do courses, but don't really want to.
I disagree.
You don't think so?
No, I think some do. Some, yeah, naturally some do. But I think there's definitely a strong camp that's only been built in the past like 3 months. That's very much like, look, we will pay for courses if they deliver value. But there's a lot of trainers who will be like, who hook you in, make you pay a lot of money, and won't teach you shit. And I think for me, and this is maybe something you might have said earlier, when I say to someone, oh, how was that course? And they go, oh, you know, I picked up a nugget or two, right? I always think, and I think you might have said this, I always think, you didn't like it, it was a shit course. Because in my opinion, I wouldn't pay 3 grand to pick up one freaking nugget. I want a box of 100 chicken nuggets if I'm going to a course. So I think there's 2 camps. There's the people who are like, oh, I want to do a course I'm going to hate. But then there's the other side, which is, nah, I'll pay for a good course, but show me a good course. And so it's just one of those things, isn't it? British people love to complain, as I'm sure you know. So it also kind of runs with that. But do you think that you could, so now you're in the position where you're viewing properties, you're getting out there, you're actually you're turning theory into practical. Could you have done this without the courses by, I don't know, networking with people, or like if you paid 0 and just went to networking events,
yeah,
could you have achieved the same level of knowledge and relationships?
I think eventually over the years, yes. I think many of the courses are, because after like the first few weeks, things got repetitive. But then I did more specific ones. Like I did quite a few on commercial property and on very specific things. So now literally I feel in such a better position because now, like, I'm buying commercial property. In the next few weeks I'm buying huge HMOs, blocks of flats. And for me it's just like, people look at me and go like, what, you're doing this? I'm like, yeah, it's like, because I just know now. And
I think it's interesting you say that, because like, yeah, most people start with buy-to-lets, HMOs, bigger deals. You're kind of like bypassing it. So maybe actually the biggest thing to come out of this is that you're skipping the first, you know, initiation. You're going straight to HMOs, straight to commercial, straight to flats, which without the courses, maybe you wouldn't have had the confidence or network or knowledge to do so, right? But I guess it's one of those things you never know until, like, you could say to me, Tej, do you think you could have done this with courses? And I'll say, maybe. It's one of those things you never know, right? But for people who are starting out, for people who are you 6 months ago,
yeah,
can you give them like 3 top tips of things they should sort of do from that you've done, or maybe you didn't do, that they can just like get started in property, like inspire people with what you've done? Would you say
tips for people who already have decided they want to be successful in property, or for people who are thinking, I might want to do property?
Thinking about property. Let's do that one. I like that.
Yeah, because for me, I already knew I will do property and I will be very successful. So I already decided. So for me, it didn't matter at all. I just wanted to get all the pieces. I wanted to meet everyone in the industry, and kind of pick the people who I want to work with. But if you're just thinking about property, I think the very first step, and people at courses, they almost like skip this. They try to like convince you like, hey, you gotta do this, you gotta do this. But the first thing is you have to decide, is property even aligned with your highest values, right? Because each person has different values that are of different priority. And the higher a value is on your priority list, the more intrinsically you feel inspired to do it. And the lower something is, so basically the less important something is, the more extrinsic motivation you need. And the courses, they try to not all of them, but many of them try to charge you up emotionally, like external, to get you like in a mood to then do it. And I think this can happen to you, and then you actually go do it and then continue. But I think first you have to, like, but see, another problem is, even if you're thinking about property, and even if currently it might not be part of your highest values to create wealth and be a business person, it might be from your upbringing, but then you actually, because of pressure and pushing, you actually find out, oh, thank you so much for doing this for me, actually I do like it. But then how do you differ between you don't know how to do it, or you don't want to do it, but then they pushed you and then now you're thankful, versus you don't want to do it, you still don't want to do it, you're never going to do it, and they just screwed you over. Like, how do you, it's very hard to say, right? Oftentimes. It
is, and I think that is like the confidence, right? And that's the confidence of, I think, also having a good network around you, right? Which we can speak about in another video. So Gladys, you have a YouTube channel, you have 2 YouTube channels. Can you tell everyone, I'll put this in the card at the end and in the description, but can you tell people the names of your channels so they can go subscribe to you?
Yeah, so the most relevant channel for this would be Property Investing with Claudius Fertesi. We filmed 2 videos with Tesh, where he's talking about how exactly he's buying 11 houses in 6 months only, which is very impressive, really good. And so check those 2 videos out. You're gonna see them on my channel as well. I'm also documenting my journey on my channel. I viewed very, very interesting deals, and I go into very detail on what I'm doing. So you will find this probably very interesting. So definitely subscribe to my channel as well. And actually you said 3 questions, right? I didn't answer your question.
You gave 2, I think.
Yeah, 2.
We'll end it with
so what I would say is, you know, watch YouTube videos about property investing. Maybe go to a few, watch my videos, watch his videos, just type in property investing, and just, you know, see if it resonates with you. And
immerse yourself.
Yeah, immerse yourself and see if you vibe with it, right? And then you just gotta try and, you know, and meet people. And it might take a while, but also I think a big factor is, and this might be another video, is what you want to use property for.
Let's talk about that next. Let's talk about your whys. So everyone, thank you so much for watching the video. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment, and follow both of our channels. Instagram, tej.talks. What are you on Instagram?
Claudius_Fertesi.
Boom.